My question is, how hard would it be? Let's imagine you are a failing president. You are a failing president, and your country is going through a coronavirus, let's just imagine. And you are a failing president. Your polls are going down. And you think that there is a possibility that if you lose this election, you might have to go to trial for various crimes that you have probably committed. And if you go to trial, you're thinking you might get convicted and you might go to prison. This is all going through your head. Just imagine this. Just go with me on this. And you are desperate. You need to find a way out of this. So basically, one, you need to stay in power. You need to remain the president. But how can you become the president, how can you remain the president if your polls are sinking so low? And, you're just basically not doing well. How can you stay the president? Well, you need something to happen. You need something chaotic. You need something massive to happen that will cause you to be forced to call in the military or have martial law for the country. That's what you need. Because if you have martial law, then you could find a way to postpone indefinitely an election. You can't lose an election if there is no election. So if you can get the military to do your bidding for you, there's no end to what you could do. But how do you do that? How do you get the military to do your bidding for you? You would have to do something really, really egregious to get the whole world just outraged, the whole country, the whole world. You'd have to be able to do that. Now, what would make that happen in a country like America? What would make so many people outraged that it was just it'd be like starting a fire in the country, lighting a fire in the country? What could you do? Wonder what would happen. You know how black people are. You know how they respond because you've studied them for years. You know a lot about how they act and blah, blah, blah. And especially the people you hang around with. They study black people too because they probably have, never mind, I won't even go there. But anyway, what would do it? And somebody comes up with an idea. What would happen in the country if you handcuff the man and laid him out in the street and slowly strangled him to death with your knee on his neck? What would be the response to that? That's a good question. So let's find out. All you would need to do is find someone or pay someone or threaten someone that would be willing to handcuff a human being in the street face down and then take their knee and put it on that person's neck and just keep it there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now that 9 seconds was fast. But imagine 9 minutes. Got your knee, your body weight on a man's throat, slowly suffocating him. while he's calling his mother, while he's dying, while he's begging you to let him breathe, right? So let's see, you got a person that you figured out a way, bribe him, threaten him, promise him that he will never be convicted. You got him to do it. And by George, he does it, looking dead into the camera. Now, surely that's going to upset a lot of people. A whole lot of people. And you know what happens when people get upset and they start protesting all across the country? During a pandemic, too. Well, you would have to do something about it. Yeah, you couldn't let that go on. You'd have to do something. What would you do? Well, you'd let them riot for a few days, those who want to riot, those who want to steal, almost ignoring those who just want to protest the massive murder that was committed, right? So once these people who would be, and you may even pay people, to go and do the damage, break in the stores, burn stuff down, infuriate the American people even more. All the more reason that you would have to call in the military to come in to get control of the country. Now that is quite a story, isn't it? You could not write such a story in a book because nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe it. And nobody would be devious enough to do something like that. No one would do an Epstein kind of move like that. No. That's just too much. No one is that devious. No one in the world is the kind of person who would do something like that. The kind of person that would just gas a bunch of people, innocent people, unarmed people who are expressing their First Amendment rights in a park with no warning. You'd have to be that kind of a person to do something like that. You'd have to have that kind of a mindset. And the people around you would have to have those kinds of ways of thinking. You'd have to be the kind of a person that would do that just so you could amble down the street a little bit and take a picture holding a Bible in front of a church. A Bible in front of a church, looking goofy and stupid and whatever. Now, I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I mostly think they're really stupid. But if a person was that evil, and if a person surrounded himself with people that evil, how difficult would it be to create that kind of chaos for a purpose? Now, if you've got martial law, you can do anything you want. If you can get the military to, put guns on the American people, occupy streets and cities and so forth, you can pretty much do what you wanted to. You can demand that there is no voting by mail. You could say that the country's in no position to be having an election. There's no end